welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja, and in this segment today we are going to discuss about the recent judgment of the Supreme Court that prostitution is not illegal. This topic is extremely important from the perspective of prelims and also from the perspective of GS Mains paper 2 and 4. Let's begin with the various topics that we are going to cover under it. These are the many topics. It's pretty comprehensive. So please pay close attention to what we are going to cover. Now, Supreme Court has said that with respect to the prostitutes and commercial sex workers, their dignity should be protected as any other citizens is under the Article 21. It has also advised the police to make sure that whenever a case of FIR is being registered by a commercial sex worker about sexual assault, it should be done so and in the right manner. There are many other guidelines that the Supreme Court has presented, and that is what we are going to discuss. First, let us talk about the basic concept of prostitution or commercial sex work. Basically, prostitution is an act of engaging in generally indiscriminate sexual conduct for monetary gains and for material gains as well. Mainly, people who belong to the poor and the underprivileged classes, they generally go into this particular business. And according to the National Human Rights Commission, it was also stated that whoever are engaging in such acts, especially women, they are in the women workforce. So this is all we are going to discuss, because there is not any possible way of generalizing what sections of the group go in this particular business. Generally, we can say it's the poor and underprivileged class who do not have much access to the social welfare benefits and economic means. So these, you can see, this is a graph that will show you the level or the legalization or illegalization of prostitution, and this is on a global basis. You can see 2.93 billion people are under the legal system of prostitution, not in India but around the globe, and the illegal ones are 2.13 billion, and limitedly legal are this much, that is just 12%. India falls in the limitedly legal category. Okay, moving on, let's talk about its status in India. First of all, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956 has not at all illegalized or criminalized prostitution in India per se. What is illegalized or what is criminalized? It is keeping brothel under Section 3, and also to live off a prostitute's earning as per Section 4, procure, induct, that means recruitment, or detain any person for sex work as per Section 5 and 6, and prostitution near public places and notified areas is also a criminal act under Section 7, and solicit prostitution as per Section 8. So these are the different sections under the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956. But if any person wants to, by consent, engage in commercial sex work act, it is not something that is criminalized. Although it is not unlawful to buy sex, clients who engage in prostitution related activity in public areas, okay, keywords here are public areas, they may face penalties. Also, the Indian Penal Code has also addressed prostitution. However, the focus is on kidnapping and childhood prostitution, basically flesh market, creating a flesh market of human trafficking. And that also, as per under Section 372, 373, it's illegal to buy, sell and import minors for the purpose of prostitution. So these are the many legal conducts that has to be abided by in the Indian context. Also, if we talk about the Constitution, Article 23, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution, it says that trafficking of human beings for beggars and other similar forms of forced labor are prohibited, and any violation of this provision of the article shall be punishable according to Section Article 23, Clause 2. Okay, so this is a fundamental right. It forms a foundation in the fundamental rights. So that is why it is very important that we know about this particular segment. Moving on. Now, as I told you, National Human Rights Commission took a decision that the commercial sex workers should be considered as formal workers. It could be people belonging to the category of women, people belonging to category of men as well, transgenders, homosexuals, heterosexuals, no matter what. And the NHRC lists sex workers as women at work. Although this is a very restricted concept that only women go in the prostitution business, but many other transgender categories, men, all these also form a part of the prostitution industry. Lockdown, one thing that they saw because of the COVID-19 lockdown, many people who are in this informal business, they fell prey to being exploited because they had no money, no social security to protect themselves and the children they produce through commercial sex work. So that is why a committee was formed, and here only it was suggested that these people should be coming in an formal economy. These should be taken into it from informal to formal economy so that we can provide them social benefit schemes as well and do welfare for the all. So there are certain cases that you have to be aware with for the purpose of this particular segment, that is State of Uttar Pradesh versus Kaushalya, and this was related to Article 15, which relates to discrimination, right? And Allahabad High Court held that Immoral Trafficking Act is to be constitutionally valid as there was an intelligible difference between prostitution and a person causing a nuisance. So we will not go into the background, just know about this case, State of Uttar Pradesh versus Kaushalya. And Article 15 was related to it. Buddhadev Karmaskar versus State of West Bengal. Here also the Supreme Court held that sex workers are human beings and should be treated with dignity according to Section 21 of the Indian Constitution, that is right to life and liberty. Right? They are also human beings. Nobody, in my opinion, nobody will go to this business industry just for the purpose of pursuing a career. Of course, there have to be push factors. Push factors overweigh the pull factors, and that is why people go in this industry. There may be exceptions to the rule. Okay. Moving on, if we say that what did the Supreme Court say in this case? First of all, they said that prostitution is a profession. Okay. And they also said that sex workers are entitled to dignity and equal protection under the law. This is a very big deal. That means they were upholding Article 14, Article 15 and Article 21 as well. Moving on, if we talk about another guideline, sex workers are entitled to equal protection of law. Criminal law must apply equally in all cases on the basis of age and consent. That is why that means consent has been upheld over here. In any case, consent is the bed of foundation bed on which many things are premised upon. And when it is clear that sex worker is an adult, not a minor, not below the age of 18, and is working with consent in this industry, the police must refrain from interfering or taking any criminal action, and every individual in this country has the right to a dignified life under Article 21 of the Constitution. Big deal this is. And also sex workers should not be arrested, penalized, harassed or victimized through raids on brothels. That means brothel keeping is illegal. Living off the resources from particular business such as prostitution is illegal. But if brothel raiding occurs, nothing can be criminalized against the person who are working there. Okay, not publishing their photos, not harassing them, not torturing them. A sex worker's child should not be deprived of her mother's care just because she is solely on the grounds that she is in the sex trade work. And the court has also instructed the cops not to discriminate against the sex workers who lodge a complaint if the offense against them is of sexual nature. So these are the many guidelines that they want to simply the court wants to say that prostitution is a profession, because also we have a right to practice a profession under what article? Tell me in the comment segment. Moving on, if we talk about another things, utmost care should be taken to not reveal the identity of sex workers during arrest. Now the bench has also said that the use of condoms should not be construed by the police as evidence of offense by the sex workers. Also, the sex workers who have been rescued, they should be produced before the magistrate and should be sent to correction homes for not less than 2 to 3 years. So there is a time range for correction homes as well, rehabilitation process. And in the interim, the sex workers could be kept in their homes, and if the magistrate has decided that the sex worker has consented, they could also be let out. So you see that here the profession doesn't matter. The basic premise over here is they are human. They have the right to dignity under our constitution, under Article 21. Moving on, voyeurism is a criminal offense that has been stated. Voyeurism is basically getting sexual pleasure by watching people in engagement of any sexual intercourse. Okay, so this is what I wanted to put through you. Then what are the implications? Implication is, first of all, Equal legal protection, because until now it was seen that these people are criminal in nature. They, of course, societally they are not well respected, and because of the nature of work, they were thought to be someone who are out of the ambit of our constitution, but it is not so. And if a sex worker has reported a criminal or sexual assault, then the police will act accordingly, according to the law, as the Supreme Court has said. And if the brothels are raided, then the sex workers involved will not be arrested because it's a profession. The brothel keepers can be. Okay. And any sex worker who is a victim of sexual assault will be given all the protection. And hence, this is a huge deal. They are not only they are assaulted but because of the work they do, but when they go to the police officers to report about it, they are not paid any attention to. That is also something else. And police will be required to treat all sex workers with dignity, as our constitution has suggested. Moving on, if we talk about the status of other countries with respect to prostitution, let us see the example of New Zealand. Now here, prostitution has been legal since 2003. Licensed brothels also operate under public health and employment laws. Okay, I remember reading about an empire which in the Indian, if we talk about ancient India, they had this philosophy or this policy of regulating brothels. Can you tell me in the comment segment which empire am I talking about? Okay, then it's in medieval India. Then also licensed brothels are operating and they get all the social benefits like any other formal group. France, prostitution is legal. Soliciting as public is still not allowed. And in Germany, prostitution is legalized and there are proper state-run brothels as well. The workers are provided with health insurance, have to pay taxes. They also have to pay taxes because something that cannot be banned can be regularized. And they even receive social benefits like pensions. Also, the sex workers get equal rights and have, in Greece, the sex workers, they have equal rights and have to go for health checkups as well. In Canada, prostitution is legal with strict regulations. In US, because USA is the federal country, there are different legislation according to different, they have 50 states according to that. And all parts of buying, selling and organizing sexual services are prohibited in most cases. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the challenges. First of all, socially, this is responsiveness. First of all, there has to be a proper awareness in the minds of the society about their work. Why do they choose to do so? Why do they have to get social protection, social security benefits, welfare schemes? First, that should be done. Stigmatization should be removed because this is the reality of the society. This is something that the society has had to bear with since the last many decades. It's not something that is new. So stigmatization, first of all, should be removed. People should be made aware of this work and why they choose to go through this work. Any other alternate sources of job should be, provided. Then nobody would want to. Very few people go in this industry, not because of needs, but because of something else. But most of the people go here because they have lack of proper economic opportunities, right? And then prostitution is like giving approval to flesh trade. First, that people will think according to this judgment, like they thought about adultery, that adultery it was decriminalized, but it was still a basis for divorce. It could still be used as a basis for divorce. People started saying that adultery has been now legalized, now we can be adulterers. No, it's not like that. Again, prostitution has been given an approval of, it's a profession, but it does not mean that it is an encouragement of that profession, right? And that is a moral hazard because for the youth of the nation in this particular generation, instant gratification is a menace. So people would think, youth especially, who have not been guided properly, this is quick money. And social problems can arise if prostitution is made constitutionally valid, because the proliferation of this industry plus the diseases that follow it will be a huge burden to India. Moving on, now let's talk about, now India needs to regulate the system of prostitution. Something that cannot be banned can be regulated. Blanket bans should not be provided. There should be a proper clear definition about is it legal or is it not. Secure the rights and health of sex workers because that's important under Article 14, under Article 21, under Article 19. And the future generations should also get the right to change their profession. That means the children who are born out of commercial sex work, they should be given proper education so that they can switch on to better profession, more better profession, more greater proliferation of economic opportunities should be provided to them, so that if they want, they can switch. Okay. Now let's move on to our main question. Discuss the boon and the bane of legalizing prostitution in India. What is the model that India should follow in this regard? Write it in 250 words. Okay. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated. Thank you so much for watching.